The Northern Corridor Highway has been contemplated for decades in Washington County. The proposed 4-mile stretch of road spans from what is now Exit 13 north of Washington City and St. George. About 1.9 miles of that distance would pass through the BLM's Red Cliffs Desert Reserve and Conservation Area. Washington County planners say this road is necessary to bypass future bottlenecks expected due to the growth in the area.
It takes off from the north end of the Green Springs area and then comes across the very southern portion of the Red Cliffs National Conservation Area and connects to the Red Hills Parkway. And so it provides another major east-west route for this community to address some of the congestion that UDOT and others have been measuring.
The initial EIS review process by the Bureau of Land Management and Utah Fish and Wildlife Service was given a preliminary pass in 2020. However, since that time, litigation by environmental groups ended in a settlement requiring a supplemental environmental impact statement. At issue is the potential harm to the desert tortoise and impact of wildland fires in the preserve area located on the northeasternmost edge of the Mojave Desert.
And take another hard look at a couple key resources, including cultural resources related to the BLM's action to issue the right-of-way, and also the impact of wildfires on the landscape, the subsequent, impact that has on weeds and other invasive vegetation coming into those burned areas, and the potential impacts that has to the quality of Mojave Desert tortoise habitat. And impacts to the species.
The total span of the protected conservation area in Washington County is over 62,000 acres. The concern by Northern Corridor planners is that if this area is shut down to construction of the new road, then Zone 6, which was set aside for habitat elsewhere in the plan, would also go away.
The Red Cliffs Desert Reserve pretty much overlaps the entire Red Cliffs NCA plus a little extra. There are 5 existing zones in that Red Cliffs Desert Reserve. And as a result of the Northern Corridor, a 6th zone was added to offset impacts of the highway. And so that 6th zone is actually located on the southwest area of the developed communities of St. George and surrounding communities over near the Bloomington area. If the Northern Corridor was approved, then Zone 6 would be established. The Northern Corridor would have to be approved on a route through the existing reserve to trigger the expansion of the reserve. So if the right-of-way was to be rescinded or canceled, technically Zone 6 the protections associated with it right now would no longer be in place. On the portions that are managed by the Utah Trust Lands Administration, there are some heightened protections that are currently in other BLM documents that are not being modified right now. So many of the protections would remain in place for the short term on those areas until we have a chance to relook at those to see if they would continue in the long term.
The time to comment has now been expanded until December 28th.
So we did extend it to December 28th now. The 2 ways that we're accepting comments are through our project website on the BLM's e-planning webpage. You can submit your comments directly through our webpage. There's a link there. We're also taking hard copy comments mailed to our office in St. George.
After the public scoping period ends, Tibbetts said they will then review the comments and will have another comment period in the spring.
We'll have another 45-day comment period and additional public meetings during that time. And then after we receive that feedback from the public, we'll be making modifications and incorporating that feedback into a final environmental impact statement, supplemental impact statement that will be issued this fall, and then a decision would follow in late fall or winter.
In Washington County, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.